Scotch uses sherry casks for aging, but not every sherry cask is exactly the same. Here to talk to us about sherry aging is Rachel Barrie, the master blender for GlenDronach, Glenglassaugh, and BenRiach. Rachel, these are two GlenDronachs, 12 and 18 years old. Both are aged in sherry casks, but they are not aged in the same kind of sherry casks. Why not?
Well, they are both aged in Spanish oak sherry casks, and this goes back to 1826 when the distillery was licensed, was first built, and sherry casks were the original style. So these are actually like the traditional sherry casks that would have been used back in 1826. But saying that, absolutely, there is a different kind of recipe for sherry casks in both of these, in that the 12-year-old is composed of both Pedro Ximénez and oloroso sherry cask maturation, and the 18-year-old is 100% oloroso sherry cask matured. And you might be wondering why. With the 12-year-old, I think we should try it, and I can explain as we go through the tasting. With the 12-year-old, it's beautifully balanced. So when you nose it, this aroma is coming through from the combination of Pedro Ximénez and oloroso. So the Pedro Ximénez cask is giving you almost like Seville orange, some candied fig, dates, and also layers of chocolate in there as well. A little bit of spice, so perhaps you get a little bit of nutmeg, and the Spanish oak as well is coming through, which is that kind of deeper resinous and also balsamic character. In here, there's also the oloroso, which is giving you the creaminess, sultanas, dates, a little bit of treacle there as well. So 12-year-old GlenDronach is really the introduction to sherry cask maturation at its finest, where it is perfectly balanced between the two main styles of sherry. Pedro Ximénez being sweet, quite spicy, quite elegant, and oloroso with the depth and very rounded character. With GlenDronach, the distillery character in itself is a combination of fruity top notes, elegance, and it's also robust and full-bodied. So the different sherry casks bring out different elements of the distillery house style.
So what is then with the 18-year-old? Is that also in Pedro Ximénez and oloroso casks? Will I get the same sort of aromas just with 6 more years?
With the 18 years old, the 100% oloroso sherry cask matured is giving you a very, very full-bodied character, extremely robust. So it's almost like the dunnage character that you get in the traditional dunnage warehouses deep in the valley in the glen of GlenDronach.
And those are the warehouses made of stone, right?
These are made of stone, they have earthen floors, and an 18-year-old, these oloroso sherry butts have been sitting there for 18 years, a maximum of 2 levels high, very large casks, 500 litres in size, and this allows for them to breathe and take on the character of the warehouse, as well as the oak, and as well as the age. So again, it's all of these elements together that make for an incredibly powerful nose. It has this powerful complexity and depth and persistence. It just refuses to go away. And as this sits in the glass, it will just open up and get richer and richer. If you go back to the 12-year-old now, this is 6 years younger, but it has that lovely apricot character and orange. So in the 12-year-old, you get more of the fruit in terms of the orange apricot creamy fruit there. So for people who are new to sherry cask maturation, I think this is a great way to bring them in. And and try.
Well, I really need to
Balance.
taste it.
I think we need to taste.
There is really... There is so much citrus fruit on the nose, like you pointed out. And now that I'm tasting it, it's really evident on the palate as well. But you mentioned that the Pedro Ximénez cask, which we also call PX cask, right?
Yes, PX.
Gives some chocolatey notes, and I'm tasting that as well, along with a real oaky finish. Is that from the PX or the oloroso? That sort
That's
of oak?
the PX. Well, the PX is giving you the finesse of the fruit, and also almost like that bittersweet dark chocolate. So what it does is it takes the PX takes two of the main facets in GlenDronach, I think, which are the fruit and the elegance that we get from our swan neck stills, for example. It creates this counterpoise of character that comes through, so that when you taste the 12-year-old, it lifts on the palate and it lengthens as well. So it has an elegance and it's silky smooth, but it also has a persistence and richly satisfying finish. So you get that counterpoise of the elegance and the long finish from this combination of Pedro Ximénez and oloroso casks.
Yeah, it's beautifully balanced and it just keeps lingering. I mean, for an aftertaste for a finish, of a 12-year-old, this is extremely lengthy.
Yes.
But now for the 18-year-old, it has this darker color, which I assume is all natural, right? GlenDronach doesn't add any coloring.
Absolutely. To create these whiskies, I have to sample every single parcel, if not every single cask of GlenDronach, because that's nature, and no two casks are exactly the same. So these are hand-selected casks that are brought together to create this natural colour, and non-chill filtered also. The 12-year-old at 43%, and the GlenDronach Allardyce 18-year-old at 46% alcohol. So see what you find.
That is so remarkably different than the 12. The dryness and nuttiness, and there's also a chocolate note to this as well, but it's different. It's almost completely bitter chocolate. There's no sweetness to it at all in that sense, and it lacks any of the citrus fruit I found on the 12. They share casks in common. They both use oloroso, but this one is utterly a world apart from its sibling. Are there any types of sherry casks that don't work for GlenDronach's malt? Like, I know there are many styles of sherry, like Fino and Amontillado, but we tend to see mostly oloroso and PX in sherry aging. Do they just happen to work best with single malt Scotch?
Yes, I think oloroso and Pedro Ximénez do work the best. Pedro Ximénez for the sweetness and the length of taste. Oloroso because it's right in the middle of the palate. Fino will give you a little bit more dryness, it's a bit more crisp, and Amontillado will give you a little bit more of a kind of nutty character. But for GlenDronach, from all the casks that I have sampled, Pedro Ximénez and oloroso are the best.
Well, these are really certainly excellent whiskies. Both of them completely different. I know there's an age difference and a price difference, but I don't think I could choose a favorite. I think they're both fantastic each.
Yeah, I can't pick either.
Thank you very much for coming in to talk to us about sherry and
thank
Slange.
you. Thank you.